And the Orioles are the new world champions.
Robinson throws him out. Baltimore is the world champion. A liner, and the Orioles are the world champions.
This is an incredible baseball town. We can feel that. We feel the history.
Cal Ripken Jr. has reached the unreachable star.
Growing up in the 80s and 90s, I'm from Northern Virginia. Definitely came to Camden Yards right in the heyday and remember how full and electric the place was.
This is one of baseball's storied franchises, but 47 wins last year. It was an awful season on just about every account.
Mike Elias, the new VP and general manager. How does he go about overseeing the rebuilding process in Baltimore?
This is a team that needed some refurbishment in baseball operations and the way that it went about business, kind of bringing in a analytics department from scratch. We had no real international scouting operation. The deck was kind of clear in terms of the major league coaching staff. So it was almost like an expansion franchise.
Mike really put a ton of work into building the organization from the bottom up. I knew what he was building and I knew how well he drafted. And so I thought it was a great opportunity.
I'm very pleased to announce Brandon Hyde as our 20th manager in franchise history.
Just talking baseball with him, it was pretty clear that we saw the game similarly, which is important because you're going to be talking to this person 2 or 3 times a day. But I think most importantly, his resume, basically everything you can do in player development. He was a coach in the minors, he was a manager in the minors, he was a farm director, then he moved to the major league coaching staff and ultimately bench coach for Joe Madden. He was totally covered. So he'd been through a big rebuild, he knew what he was getting into, and I don't think anything surprises him when you've got that kind of level of preparation in your career.
Baltimore really cleaned house, really dumped everything out, and starting new here, I think it's going to be fun to really see how this all pans out in the next couple of years.
Well, they're in the rebuilding process after 115 losses and 108 losses.
And the ball game is over. Orioles have now dropped 19 games in a row.
Well, we're, in this division especially, there was a lot of challenges. From a talent standpoint, we weren't ready to compete. We weren't able to pitch to some of the lineups in the American League East. That wasn't easy, honestly. Mike had way more patience than I did on some nights during those years.
Well, it's definitely tough at the major league level to incur those kind of losses, even when you know your farm system is building up and looking great for the future. I credit him and the coaches for maintaining an atmosphere that was productive even during some of the leaner years there and kind of building a winning culture slowly.
Tough. At the same time, grateful, because we have the opportunity to play every day, be able to make a mistake, to learn the game.
Thinking back, it was kind of on, the downhill side, and even though the team was still struggling, I felt like we were making improvements here and there in small areas.
There is history. Cedric Mullins stands alone, the first Oriole ever with a 30-30 season.
I think that, one thing I am proud of during those few really tough years was that you couldn't tell this was a 100-loss-win team. So I feel good about that. I feel like the culture was in place until we got a little bit more talented, which we did last year.
Batting for your Baltimore Orioles, making his major league debut, number 35, Adley Rutschman.
Baltimore fans looking forward to seeing first pick overall in the 2019 draft.
Leading into 2022, we had, young guys that were right on the cusp of making their debuts, Adley being the biggest one.
Rutschman into right field, down the line, a fair ball. Adley will turn first. He's going to turn second, go for third. Rutschman into third base, standing. An extra base hit, his first hit in the major leagues. Welcome to the show, kid.
He really kind of settled in quick, felt comfortable with everyone around him. Like I said, the clubhouse culture, and he was able to thrive through that.
And a drive here to right field. That ball is gone, and Adley Rutschman has left Camden Yards for the first of what we hope will be many more times.
That's the beautiful thing about baseball is that it's a team game and no one ever talks about the individual accomplishments. Looking back on my college career, we always talk about the, winning the College World Series, and I think that's what I love most about it. So any accomplishments we have, it's because of the team, and we celebrate that together. So those are the things I look forward to most, and the opportunity to do that.
with the 42nd selection of the 2019 MLB Draft, the Baltimore Orioles select Gunnar Henderson.
There is Baseball America's #1 prospect, Gunnar Henderson. On a 2-2, Henderson drills one, right center field and deep, and gone! Oh my goodness! His first Major League hit is his first Major League home run.
Gunnar Henderson looks like he's going to be the Rookie of the Year, and this guy was not the 1-1 overall pick. He was a second-round pick, so it's probably helped speed up our rebuild to hit on a second-round pick that strongly. To me, he's a flagship representation of what we're trying to do here from a scouting and player development standpoint, and it's looking like a franchise-changing draft pick at this time.
The 2023 Orioles is a very resilient group, and it's a very tight-knit group. One thing that's been so fun about this group is obviously the talent. You can look at it on paper, but just the quality of human beings and the fact that guys truly love each other, it makes it a ton of fun to show up to the ballpark each and every day.
Santander to right, Santander to right, and this baby's gone! Some magic on a Friday night in downtown Baltimore.
I see the talent, I see the players, I knew what we can do. I say, okay, here we go. We might have a chance to stay on the top.
To have these guys that went through those 19, 20, 21 years, for those guys to experience September games that mattered and to play in playoff-type atmospheres.
There's Hayes! Spectacular play in left field!
And see them perform and see them do well. For me, that was the most gratifying, just knowing what they had witnessed in their first few years of the big leagues to now, this is real big league baseball when you play like that.
Just what it sounded like from Hyder and Mike, just the direction they were going, it was the team that I wanted to be on. All these guys have played together for so long already, and then now I think that helps them get a little bit even more comfortable here a little quicker. And then you can just see their personal makeup. It was a no-brainer. This was going to be a team that was going to reach their ceiling, I think, a little bit faster.
Mullins into center field. This should do it. Adley Rutschman will score, and the Orioles seal their fate with a walk-off win. A clincher, a walk-off, control of the American League East. Now that's not bad for a Sunday.
I think our first step was making playoffs, and then from there it's winning the last game at the end of the year. Everyone has that goal, and everyone's excited for the next step.
My goal, of course, is to win the World Series. We have a great opportunity to do that. It's not going to be easy. No one said it's going to be easy, but to be able to pull that off, that would make it a spectacular season.